Guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an article titled Alpha Females Embrace Who You Are. And guys, this article is obviously written by a woman, and she's going to go through this whole thing about how so many women out there who consider themselves to be alpha females, for some strange reason, struggle to find a guy, particularly the type of guy they want. Actually, guys that are considered to be alpha males. The alpha females claim to want the alpha males, yet for some reason can't seem to figure out why those guys aren't into them. And as you guys know, oftentimes guys are labeled as being, they can't handle a strong woman or some demeaning, insulting thing thrown our way. But the reality is, what these gals don't get is that masculine men are turned off. In fact, let me rephrase it, repelled by masculine women. But over the decades, thanks to the feminist movement trying to condition women to be more like men, you got more girls than ever walking around that are masculine, hard-headed, dominant, take charge, all that, and it turns guys off. And they complain they can't get the type of guys they want. Big surprise. So she's saying, hey, you know what? I came to realize one day I can't get those types of guys, so I'm not going to change who I am, so I'm going to go after soft guys. And those soft guys allow me to be who I am and blah, 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 blah. But what's pretty funny about this, guys, is that it's going to pretty much have her telling the girls out there, don't change who you are. Don't stop being these hard-headed, masculine, pain-in-the-ass types. Just stay who you are, and you can find those soft guys, and they'll do the job for you. But the reality is, they all want a strong, take-charge guy. But it doesn't work that way. And so I'm going to go through this, guys. I thought it would be pretty fun to go over here because, again, oftentimes they just don't get it, you know? And how many times have you heard gals say that men just can't handle a strong woman, or they're just not strong enough to handle her personality, or some crap like that? As I said before countless times in other videos, it's not that a guy isn't strong enough to handle it. We don't want to. It's a turnoff. It's like being in a relationship with another dude, or being on a date with another guy. And no masculine man wants to be on a date or in a relationship with a woman that behaves like a man, because it's a turnoff. We like soft, feminine women. So, I'm going to go through this, guys. You'll find this entertaining. Starts off, she says, I learned to love who I was at my core and embrace the fact that a good fit for me, partner-wise, would be someone who cherished the dominant parts of me and didn't compete with them. When I finally accepted this, I met the love of my life. You mean a classic beta male? When I'm out and talking to singles, I often meet a lot of women who are considered to be alpha females. Opinionated, successful, dominant, like to be in control, strong personality. When the topic of dating comes up, these women lament that they can't find strong, successful men to date. That they're tired of dating men they can walk all over, and they want men to stand up and take the reins. Newsflash, when women are that way, as she describes as strong personality, dominant, take charge, opinionated, all that, guess what? Those types of guys, like I said in the beginning, are turned off by them. And the only type of guys that they can get like that are soft guys, because probably those guys were raised by dominant women in their family. Their moms, their grandmas, their aunties, their sisters. You get my point. And yet they're turned off by those guys. So if you got these women got to understand is that if you want a guy that's going to take charge and take the lead, take the reins, as she said here, you can't have two dudes in a relationship. You can't have two alphas in a relationship. Either if you want the guy like that, then you got to stop being like that. The problem is, good luck nowadays, right? I get that women's ascendancy in the working world has perhaps made the fairer sex more aggressive and masculine, but I also see plenty of women in high-level positions who demonstrate more feminine qualities in the workplace. So could it be that many of these strong-minded women just happen to naturally be more dominant types? Well, it depends on how they were raised and their dynamics in the family, but our society, starting in the schools, are conditioning women, thanks to the feminist movement, to be more masculine. And they're also conditioning guys to be more feminine and screwing everything up. The men aren't attracted to the women aren't attracted to the men, and we have a big mess. Big surprise there. And so a lot of these young women, they end up with older guys that still come from a period of time when they didn't have the feminist movement hammering in to make the guys more feminine. Imagine that. I hear all the time from single women when I go to parties and gatherings, they're looking, what they say they're looking for, they're like a man, Translation, a guy that actually acts like a traditional masculine male. Out there, I mean, nowadays, more guys under 35 years old, it seems like that 35 is that number. Just so many of them have been just so brainwashed that they're so feminine. I'm not saying all, and I'm not saying a lot of you guys. If you watch me, you're probably not those types, or you, at least maybe you were, but you're not anymore. But they can't believe it. I'm not surprised. A lot of dating coaches will tell strong, successful women to tone down their dominant nature if they want to date and have a relationship with an alpha male. And that can be an effective strategy, especially in the early stages of dating when you don't want to come off as an aggressive control freak. Translation, fake it, put on a big act, bait and switch, act a certain way, but once you got them roped in, then you unleash the Kraken, then all of a sudden you unleash the masculine side, fake it. But for a lot of alpha women trying to find partners, the alpha male may not be the best fit. And so I tell these women to quite simply embrace who you are. Yeah, how's that worked out? The best analogy that I've heard on this topic of self-acceptance and finding a compatible partner was from a man taking part in the dating panel. He said, and this is the guy, he says, men are like plants. There are a wide variety of us, no right or wrong. Some plants require shade, some have flowers, some don't. Some take a long time to grow, and so on. As a woman, you have to decide what kind of farmer you want to be and be honest with what type of farmer you are. If, for example, you are a very strong woman, find someone who will work well with you. And once you find out what you can and can't tolerate and who you are and aren't, find someone who fits with you. And sure, in all relationships, you're going to have someone that's more dominant, someone more submissive. It isn't just romantic relationships, and you find your good fit. The problem is that our whole, in the West especially, and this isn't just the US of A, I'm talking Australia, England, Canada, thanks to the feminist movement, they're making all the girls this way. It says here, don't try to make an apple tree into an orange tree. You'll waste years of your life trying to change something that's not supposed to be. And you have to understand what and who you are and to go find your match. It does not matter who is perfect, it does matter what environment does he thrive and what environment do I do well. If you give a plant exactly what it needs, it will do really well and it will take care of you. But you have to understand how that plant works. And if you are in front of a plant and say this isn't doing what I want, then I go find another plant. And don't wait years of your life sticking around waiting for it to change into something else. Plants, trees, who the hell is this Ranger Rick? But the point he's trying to make here is that yes, obviously, but with regards to the gals, you're not going to find these types that want a strong man. You're not going to get it if you're acting like a strong woman, because masculine men don't want to be out on a date with some G.I. Joe chick. It's a total turnoff. She says, on a personal note, I wouldn't say I'm 100% alpha, but I certainly have some alpha qualities. For years, I fought against the idea that perhaps I wasn't meant to be an alpha with an alpha male, a la Don Draper. I thought I wanted that type of man, a man who led, a man who put me in my place, a man whose dominance I could be in awe of. Yet every time I dated these types of men, it was like two rams butting their heads against each other, show of power. Yes, that's exactly how it is. You got a masculine man, and you got a masculine woman, and even if she's good looking, because, by the way, guys, I've known women that are definitely, sadly, embracing their masculine side. It doesn't mean they're all a bunch of butches. I've seen some damn good looking women, great bodies, great face, pretty gals, but they are like dudes on the inside. And they get out with guys that are like them, and it's just like, boom, boom, boom. It doesn't work. Someone's got to lead, and someone's got to follow. But these gals have been conditioned that is a crime against humanity if, God forbid, they would follow a masculine guy's lead. This is what we have nowadays. She says, but you know what, here's the thing, guys, and she's trying to convince the gals to, okay, go with a soft guy. That way it can work, and you can still be the bossy-ass woman that you are. These gals are still going to long for the alpha presence, and a lot of them will eventually step out. That's the problem. Says here, yeah, every time I dated these types of men, it was like two rams, blah, blah, blah. The men I dated more seriously tend to always be laid back and easygoing, sensitive to my feelings, patient, guys who are perfectly willing to go with the flow a lot of the time and let me be the more dominant one. Translation, beta guys. And you know what, guys? I know two different couples, it comes to my head right now, off the top of my head, where both the guys are absolutely your classical beta types. And I know the one fairly well, and his mom ran the show growing up, okay, and babied him. And this is why he is the way he is. And his wife, she is definitely masculine as all hell. She's one of the few chicks that I think is actually cool. I can hang out with at a party or barbecue with and catch up and have a good time because she's that cool. But she's masculine as hell. And she runs the relationship and takes charge. But interestingly, when she's with me, she starts turning girly. Okay, but the second she gets back with him, all of a sudden, she's calling the shots. And he's a good guy, don't get me wrong. It's just that, but she can't get a relationship with a guy that's going to be like more the alpha type because she's so strong and take charge, And it's not in a obnoxious type of way, okay? It's just her nature. It's interesting she got the balancing act. And the other couple's the same deal. Good guy, but, P-whipped. Anyhow, she says, the alpha men didn't seem to want to date for me long periods of time. I'm opinionated. She says, I host 2 radio shows and I'm an internet TV show and have spent years writing opinion pieces. I am competitive on the tennis and squash courts. I am and have always been the fist-pumping, screaming maniac kind of woman. I can be hard-headed. And she says, I don't back down easily. Oh yeah, that sounds so fun in a relationship. Dominant, screaming maniac when she's mad, hard-headed. Again, no dude wants to be in a relationship with a gal like that. It's a total turnoff. But there are guys out there, again, the soft guy types, that are attracted to strong, dominant, ball-busting women. And if that's who they really are, okay, knock yourself out. There's an endless supply of them out there. The problem is, those gals initially don't want those types. They're the ones they settle for because they realize the guys they really want, the alphas, no way, Jose, ain't gonna work. At one point, I considered changing all these things because I thought men would find me intimidating. But Dave loves me for these parts of my strong personality, and I love him even more for it. Even when I look at my female friendships, the women who I have clicked with the most throughout my life have been easygoing, laid-back types. The more dominant ones I've clashed with. See? This is what I mentioned earlier. It isn't just the dominant and the submissive one in a romantic relationship. It's also friendships as well. Right there. She always clashes with other women. And this makes me think of Al Bundy. Don't try to understand women because women understand women and they hate each other. There's going to be a leader, and she obviously has to be it. And I can only imagine this dude that is with her. She says, eventually, I learned to love who I was at my core and embrace the fact that a good fit for me partner-wise would be someone who cherished the dominant parts of me and didn't compete with them. When I finally accepted this, I met the love of my life. We got married in December 2013. What is this, chick, a dominatrix or something that everybody bows before her and goes with her lead? Seriously. Now, does this all mean I'm encouraging strong, successful women to date doormats who never take initiative? Of course not. A self-respecting man should have his own life and have his own opinions and be able to stand up for himself. Well, that's the problem. The types of guys that are going to eventually go for these girls aren't the types that are going to stand up for themselves. They usually are doormats, okay? The women they wanted, the feminine women aren't interested in them because they are pushovers. They are doormats. They let the women run the relationship. And feminine women don't want a guy to lay down and let her run the show. It's a complete turnoff. For a feminine woman, being out with these types of guys, beta guys, is like being on a date with another girl. Turns them out. In the same way it turns masculine men off to be on a date or even in the same room with a masculine-ass, hard-headed woman, the same way it turns a feminine woman off to be with a feminine guy. And she said, remember, by the way, she mentioned earlier, I thought pretty much of toning this down, just putting on an act, essentially. So for you guys who do dating relationships, be aware, if you sense a girl that definitely has a masculine side, and maybe she's trying to repress it, it ain't going to be repressed for long. It's going to come out once she knows you're roped in. She says here, but a relationship with an alpha male who many strong women have always fantasized would bring them happiness perhaps isn't always the best complement to their dominant nature. If an alpha woman finds someone who happens to be easygoing, a bit on the passive side, isn't threatened by her strength and actually seems to adore her for it, I encourage you to give him a chance and open your heart to him. She may end up being grateful to him for allowing her to be her true self in his presence. She may be happy that she can be her true self, but she's never going to be turned on by him. Not going to work. And a lot of times these gals, how many of these stories have I done where they're with these soft guys? Yeah, doesn't end well for those guys. This is why I encourage guys to get rid of the bad programming they got in the schools, on television, in the media, to be more feminine and start embracing their true masculine side. And on many areas of their lives are going to improve for them. Because when a guy acts masculine, traditional masculinity, opens lots of doors for him. He's respected, and that gives him the confidence to move forward in life in all areas he wants to conquer. And guess what? He's going to get the type of girls he wants, when manner of speaking. He doesn't have to settle for these hard-headed G.I. Joe masculine types. But anyhow, guys, that'll be an interesting one to go over here. But guess what? If they think that they can get masculine guys, good freaking luck. But again, thanks to the feminist movement, sadly, they're everywhere. And again, it's always funny to me when the guys are labeled these unpleasant things because, oh, they can't handle a strong woman. No, it's not that at all. It's just a complete and total turnoff. Again, the way that for a feminine woman, it's a turnoff to be with a soft type of guy. Because men aren't engineered to be soft. They're meant to be strong and tough and leaders. Doesn't mean mean, doesn't mean cruel or anything like that. Anything that'd be labeled toxic, just traditional masculine. And that's what most women do want, or at least traditional women. All right, guys, that's it for today. It's a quick one. I thought it'd be a good one to go over there. I bring these up every so often, articles like this, because I find it funny. You know who you are, who sent it to me, so thank you. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Let me know if you've ever been on a date or in a relationship with a ball-busting, masculine woman who wanted to run the show. How'd it go? How'd it go when you tried to take charge and take the lead? Were you guys like butting heads, like two rams or two bulls in a pen? I'd like to hear about that. And also, guys, if you come across a really good article that you'd like me to share on this channel, or a really good story about something you've overcome, something good that that type of stuff I usually cover on this channel, email it to me, strongsuccessfulmale@gmail.com. Just be sure to make sure to write it out that I can read it very well. A lot of these things get all jumbled together, and I just cannot do those. Okay, I get emails all the time. I'll do the best I can, but if it's too messed up, can't do it. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.